What do you say we just do this? I'm going to take a look at 10 things that you can do right now to improve the trajectory of your channel's growth and the performance of your videos. One of these is going to be the easiest, most simple thing in the world to do, but before we get into that one, let me tell you about some of these other things that you can do, and let's cue the intro. Or don't. Why would you have an introduction? I know that it makes you look more established, it makes your video look more professional.
This is a side note on this. I was trying to find some B-roll to implement here of people doing really poor introductions in their videos. And guess what? I couldn't find any because none of the professional channels are doing introductions. It's only the lower level, like the guys who are trying to make it look like they're more professional. They seem to be the only ones using introductions these days, so just bear that in mind.
You're just kind of wasting the viewer's time, and that is a cardinal sin. Why are they going to want to watch multiple videos if they're watching a whole lot of the same thing over and over and over again? Yes, you can have an introduction. It can be done, but really, if it's not necessary, it is probably some fat that you need to cut. And there's a very good reason as to why you need to do this I'm going to get into in just a moment. But before I do, please consider subscribing and liking this video and leaving a comment for me and maybe sharing this out with your friends and hitting that little hype points thing. And you know, if you could talk about me on social media, tell your parents and your brother and your sister. Come on, man, cut the crap. Nobody is going to want to subscribe to your channel based on the fact that you simply made it a point to say the exact same thing that every single YouTuber ever has said. At least get a little bit creative with it. You want to give them a value proposition. You want to tell them this is the reason why you need to be subscribed to this channel, because I have this thing that I'm going to offer you, and I can only offer it if you're here to get it. Now, you're probably not going to be able to provide a lot of that value at the very beginning of the video. You might want to save your CTA, the call to action for subscribing and doing all of the YouTube things. Maybe save it for the end of the video. There are valid reasons for having it at the beginning because you get it in front of more viewership. But if you put it towards the end of the video, then you are getting subscribers from people who, you know, watched an entire video, and you have had more of an opportunity to sell them on the value that you are providing. Also understand that that very generic CTA, it kind of falls on deaf ears because viewers tend to hear it so much. Now, a moment ago, I was talking about how introductions kind of hurt you, and one of the reasons that they really have a tendency of affecting you negatively is because they're in that first 30 seconds. And the reality is the first 30 seconds of your video is absolutely critical. It is the most valuable real estate on your entire channel. You want to make sure that that first 30 seconds of your video is the most valuable content that you can provide for a viewer. Don't waste their time. Put the best, most wonderful looking video clips in front of them there. You want it to be intriguing. You want it to invoke curiosity. You want to do all of the buzzword salad things in that first 30 seconds. It is that valuable. Once you have improved that first 30 seconds of the video, it is time to move on to the rest of the video. We need to improve the rest of that, obviously. I'm not going to take up a whole lot of time on this point, but seriously, you need to add some B-roll. You need to add some interesting visuals. With all of the tools that are available out there, it's way too easy to provide some very simple overlays, graphics, and B-roll, and all of that sort of thing in order to improve the appearance of your video. After you have done doing that, the next thing that you need to do is cut all of the crap out of your video. All of the ums and ahs and ers. There's going to be entire segments of the video that were absolutely not necessary. I'll tell you right now that this video that I'm filming right now here for you is probably going to be like a 20-minute one-shot take. The amount of time on the video that you're watching right now is going to be cut down way shorter because I'm going to go through and I'm going to edit out all of the parts where I said things that were just absolutely not necessary. Once you have done all of that to your video, the next thing, and this is probably something that needs to be really much higher on the importance scale because it is highly underrated, and that is to improve your audio. Don't need everything to be absolutely perfect visually, but if there are any flaws at all with the audio, that is going to sound like nails on a chalkboard to somebody who has to sit there through it. Work towards making your audio buttery smooth. You want that audio to be the absolute best part of the video before you start worrying about, you know, maybe moving on up into higher value equipment and cameras and, you know, set design and all of that stuff. Make your audio wonderful. Cannot stress that enough. I know this goes against what a whole lot of people are saying, and I know this goes against everything that you're being told, and it goes against everything that is what I am. Like, I do YouTube strategy, I have for the past 6 years. So what I'm about to tell you is going to go against probably everything that you've ever heard in that regard. Don't focus on the numbers. Don't worry about the algorithm. You need to focus on making a video that is appealing to the one human being on the other side of the screen. The data and the numbers and your analytics, they give you insight and they give you information as to how a large group of people is viewing your video. What parts of it are performing the best? What parts are people clicking on versus what they're not clicking on? This is valuable information. But you don't want to get so enthralled and so thick in the quagmire of the data and the numbers and the analytics that it causes you to forget the artistic creativity and the quality of the actual video that you are trying to make. It's a human being that you're making it for. Everything in the world is derivative of this point, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It is okay and even encouraged for you to emulate others. It is okay to draw inspiration from other channels, from television shows, from movies. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. No, you don't want to copy them. You don't want to cut and paste their thumbnail into your video in the hopes that it's going to serve the almighty algorithm. We already talked about that. You don't want to do the same thing with your videos. You don't want to just download a bunch of Family Guy clips and post them up as shorts and think that you're going to somehow get some kind of payday out of that. That's not how it works. You need to be making great content on your own, but it's okay if you are emulating the people who you admire and respect and the people who you learn from in order to make that content. We are down to the nitty-gritty. Now, a moment ago, I talked about the easiest thing in the world that you can do to fix your video performance immediately and to make all of that stuff. I do want to say I do have a bonus point for you, and also maybe consider subscribing if you found any of this valuable. If my personality is agreeable to you and not too much of a nails on the chalkboard, thank you for letting me do 2 subscribe CTAs in this video, including one that is completely against all of the rules that I said earlier. I get a laugh out of being able to just kind of slip that in at the beginning under the guise of like I'm helping. So thank you for your patience and understanding with that. My bonus one here doesn't have a whole lot to do regarding actual video performance and channel growth and all of that. The underlying foundation of what I'm about to tell you can have an impact on how well you perform, particularly in the long term. Honestly, if you're under 100 videos, if you haven't made 100 full videos yet, don't stress about the numbers. Like, the numbers don't mean as much until you actually have a body of work like 100 videos that is representative of a sample size that gives you some data that's actually pertinent. If you've only made 3 videos, the numbers on those 3 videos are just not going to be reflexive of the larger audience that you are trying to get out in front of. So don't worry about it. Don't worry if you're not getting that many views. You will, they will come. Get that 100 videos out there, and I promise you, the numbers that you're gonna be seeing by the end of that 100 videos are not going to be the same as the numbers that you are seeing on your 3rd or 4th or 5th video. Even after the 100 video mark, I'm telling you right now, as somebody who has done 1,000 videos, I have gone from this cycle of like worrying about numbers to now I am 180 degrees focused on making the video representative of something that I want people to see. One of the biggest, most impactful moments that I have had in my entire YouTube career, I was at a conference, ran into Mr. Beast. I didn't talk to him, but he was there. We were sitting at the bar next to each other, and I kind of had a thought for a moment. What would I say if he asked me about my channel? And at the time, I was not particularly proud of videos that I was making. Why would I even want him to see the channel right now? Because these aren't the videos that I want him to see. And why am I worrying about that with Mr. Beast when I should be worrying about it with the person who's watching it on the other side of the camera? That was a couple of years ago, and I have since changed my focus to that moment right there. If I am sitting at the bar with somebody who I admire, somebody who I respect, I want the work that is being seen to be representative of the work I know I am able to make. I don't care about the subscriber count because that will come or it won't. I don't worry about the number of views. Okay, that's not true. I do worry about the number of views that I get, but that's also just kind of natural. Just don't let it go too much to you. You have a very long journey ahead of you, and you need to focus on whatever it is that's necessary to get to the 10 and 12 and 15 year mark These are goals that you need to be setting for yourself. And if you're stressing about the numbers on the 2 or 3 shorts videos that you are hammering out every single day, you might not be able to handle the longevity of a tenure like that, you know, considering how long it may take for you to get to a subscriber level that's going to pay the bills. Earlier, I was talking about the easiest thing in the world that you can do. You're probably going to hate me for this one. You can probably basically cut the very beginning of your video, and honestly, you can probably cut the very end of your video. I did it basically to the beginning of this one. I started talking, I started ranting, and you didn't hear any of it because I cut it off. And how did we start the video? Just jumped right in. Screw everything that I had to say before that because it wasn't pertinent, it wasn't necessary, and you can do the very same thing at the end. Instead of going through a long, drawn-out thing of, thank you so much for watching, you know, make sure to listen to CTA for like the video and, you know, and don't forget this thing and also, like, dude, just cut it. The video it needs to end like this.